Hi, everybody, and welcome to another one of our design boardrooms. And tonight we are kicking off a whole new series, our WOW series, and we're going to talk about problems and solutions and throw in some options in between. And with me tonight, I have my fun partner, Joanne. How are you?
I'm hunky dory, hunky dory.
We're just so glad that, we have everything working. Um, so tonight, this is about learning by seeing. Once we're going to pop up some rooms, some real life examples, and we want to kind of talk about what's wrong, what we might do differently, and what each of us might do differently. It doesn't have to be a cookie cutter response. And then we're going to see some of the amazing wow worthy transformations.
And let's just say, Sandra, this was inspired for us by Steph Guilfoyle, who does Sandra's social media. And she said, I love it when you guys show me a before and after and explain to me what was wrong in that first picture. So as we got talking about it, we thought you are all such visual people. Let's make this more visual.
And truly, Joanne, wasn't that one of the most talked about popular elements of our live classes? Because you had some classroom time where you learned
Right,
rules and then you got to go move the furniture and see it in action.
right, right.
So, and listen, there are so many times, even if you've been doing this for a while, for years like we have, every once in a while you have this room and you have to pause and go, okay, hold. I mean, this is the weirdest room ever. And or you may have something thrown at you that you need to solve and you have to really, you're scratching your head, but the goal is for you to come up with something that is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to talk about some of the top what's wrong catalysts. What even prompts us to make some of these decisions? And Joanne, you want to talk about some of these?
Sure. So, as you're looking at a room, and each of you know this, you look at the room and you analyze what's wrong, what needs to be changed, what is interrupting that room's potential. And so one of them first is context. So whatever decisions you are making have to be done in context. So are you looking at a room and you're going to stage it? Then the solutions or the options that you come up with are going to be different than if you were designing it. Or perhaps a client simply has had some lifestyle changes. So, what's the context? What worked in the room 5 years ago does not work there. So, understanding context first. Number two, color. Color is where most people make the mistakes because they do not understand the importance of color and how to mix and match it. Every color can go together. It is focusing on the saturation and intensity of that color. Number three is the content. What is actually in the room? Now, I personally love a good maximalist room, but there's a difference between maximalism and cluttered. And so understanding that, and even more important though, is understanding it through your client's eyes. This is not about you and what makes you comfortable. It is truly understanding your client. Does she like a lot of stuff? Does she like minimal stuff? You have to design to her. The configuration. You've heard us talk for years about the power of placement. The way that a room is put together, the way that furniture is arranged can encourage or discourage conversation and interaction. And that's the goal. People communicating with people. Consistency. Have you meshed together room styles and elements that like each other, that complement one another? I love a good unusual element in a room, but there still has to be some rhyme or reason or consistency to how they work together, line, shape, form, color, story, etc. And comfort. Nothing worse, and we've all been there. How many times have you walked into someone's house? It's usually a no shoes house, and you're going to walk on white carpet. And when you sit on the sofa, you're terrified that you're going to spill your cup of tea, or I'm terrified, anyways, because I usually spill it. So if the room looks good but doesn't feel good or doesn't work for them, doesn't feel comfortable, then the mission has failed.
And let's just face it, one of the biggest what's wrong is when there should be some of these catalysts when they're present, but then nobody acts on it. You've been in that room, like Joanne was just saying a minute ago before we went live. We have that border in the room, and you're like,
Mhm,
oh, please get motivated, please
mhm,
let's do something. And some of these context items could just be some kind of new inspiration. Somebody saw something on Pinterest. They got a nice bonus, a windfall, and their budget now can, support some of these fun things they might want to try. And we've all been there. We've had our clients that, they're putting the house on the market. So their situation has changed. And so now those decisions are going to have to be made. What's wrong is, we have little juniors' photos on every wall, or we can't, maneuver through the room. So just having a different situation can be the catalyst that warrants the what's wrong. Oh, Lordy. In fact, Joanne, when you were talking about minimal versus maximal, kind of that kind of client, that maximal trend is back. Now, listen, there's no shortage of color, and some of these I love. It's just a lot.
mhm, mhm. And again, though, excuse me, if you walked into a room that looked like this and tried to recommend to your client that she needed to do a all neutral room, it's not going to feel good to her. So as you are assessing what's wrong, the first letter of our wow system, um, understand that, is it really wrong, or is it wrong for your sense of style?
Exactly, exactly. And you're right. I mean, even it was so much more challenging to find a photo like this for to give you an example because there's so many of these ultra neutral rooms. We could have picked any
Mhm.
of those, they were just so many. We just couldn't resist, guys. Not that we've had this actual situation, but I mean, measuring twice, measuring three times to make sure something fits. So if it feels too cluttered, like we were just kind of saying with if your client likes to collect things, especially if they're a little bit older and can't part with anything, just having too much content in that space is wrong. So how do you speak their language to the point and hopefully they've called you and they've asked your opinion so they want to have your advice. So it's
I
the
remember, I remember years ago, I went to work for at that time it was a Drexel Heritage store. So, high-end furniture. And it was a sister, the family that owned it, their sister company was the Ethan Allen store. And one of the new designers at the Ethan Allen store had measured wrong and had ordered a large sectional, and it was 1 inch too big. 1 inch made the difference, and they could not get that sofa in the room. So not only did she not measure twice, but she also did not allow for any functionality to the space, because you certainly couldn't have put in a lamp table or a table just to support a drink. So, too much content or clutter in a room can just make it look messy and not pulled together.
exact and I'll give one example too. I had a client and she wanted this love seat on this one wall. And it was pretty it was a small love seat. However, it went over by an inch and a half. And explained this. I had already measured. I knew what I was dealing with. However, she really wanted it. So covering yourself, making sure that you've done your job versus you
Mhm.
ordering it. I put the blue tape out. I let her see how far this was going to come in the space. I then thought, I'm still not sure she's understanding. So I got a table that was going to be as high as the arm of that sofa, just so she could just visualize that this is what it is. And at the end of the day, if it is a decorating client, not necessarily a staging, you've done your job and you've explained
Right.
it all. And you'll have to make it work with some of the other pieces in the room.
Again, configuration. Remember, first of all, what is the function of the room? And the first function of the room needs to be the people that are in that. Can they interact with one another? Um, uh, can you look one another in the eye? And then becomes TV viewing or whatever the purpose may be. So in this particular room, they've taken a bowling alley space and made it even more bowling alley by the way the furniture was placed. Of course, TV viewing is not good for anyone save one person that might be lying down on the sofa. Also, the things that we want you to look at when it comes to configuration, not only is the physical 3D aspect of the room, but looking at things like in this case, you can see this floor being very linear with the panels, which is what we're seeing everywhere is, whether it's LVP or wood floors, all of these lines. And now you have a furniture placement that follows that, which again gives you that runway look.
And even jumping back to our color comment. I mean, where is it?
Mm-hmm.
We're missing it.
Yeah.
So this was one of those examples of I'm all for this global chic and bringing in what my homeowner loves, but I think every finish, every texture is represented here. We've got a little Asian, we've got a little traditional.
We
So
have coastal.
exactly. So it's good to mix some styles, especially honoring what your client likes, but know how to do it and how many can work together. Again,
And
we got it
and
lined up.
and Sandra, I want to just say again for all of you listening, and I know, looking at the list when I looked at it earlier, most of you are oldies and goodies here. You've been doing this a long time, which we're delighted that you're still here hanging out with us and feel we bring something to the table. But I want you to make sure that when you are talking to your clients, you never use the term "I think," because the term "I think" implies
Mhm.
that it's your opinion. Always, when you can base something on solid design principles, that's going to add credibility to what you bring to the table. So, just like in the last picture where I was talking about the lines in the floor, that would be a good point to make with your clients. Let's look at these lines. So, always when you're sharing opinions, don't make it an "I think" opinion, base it on a solid principle.
And it is good to review those. I mean, I was just talking to a student the other day who's been in business years, and she goes, I kind of forget what those principles are. And it
Mm-hmm.
is such a good, we talk about having a script if you need it to talk to your clients to sell that idea and to get that wow room. It's knowing what those principles are. Oh, Mary, the balance is off, or
Mm-hmm.
whatever principle you're focused on. Now, who wants to just cuddle up in this room?
Yeah,
Nobody.
really.
I swear, the carpet looks a little bit more comfy. Um, but here we go with this linear overload with the lines. I love this paneled look, this acoustic panel, but we have a linear overload with this. But more than anything, it has to feel good. Even if your client has a specific monochromatic, wants it, clean lines, it still has to be comfortable.
Yes.
Okay, so now let's apply these concepts and these catalysts to our real rooms.
So one of the things that is so important, and you are in a whole different age now, with the ability to use AI as an opportunity to share ideas with your clients. So some of these are real rooms that have then been transformed with AI, and some of them have gone, like in this particular case, this is Sandra's daughter's laundry room. Sandra's going to talk about what's wrong and what they needed, but Sandra went from this to an AI rendition, understanding what prompt she needed to use to get where she wanted to go, and where do you see the end result. So Sandra, talk to us a little bit about this.
Um, and first of all, they're the ideal clients because they do anything that I tell them to do, and that is rare. So, they were just baffled because they had got a brand new washer and dryer set, and it was gorgeous. However, as you can see, this is not a big laundry room. It is upstairs. And my daughter is very much home goods TJ Maxx shopper, and she was like, even though we have this massive washer and dryer set, which she loved the color, her whole inspiration for this room was the rug. She goes, I just love this rug. I'm like, okay, let's forget the cheetahs or whatever that's on the rug. Let's look at these two elephants that we have. They were huge, this washer and dryer, and plus they were much larger than they were used to. So it was like, what are we going to do? So it's like embracing how can you make something that is so obvious work in the space. So I am trying to tell them, I'm like, even having very visual clients, it's good to be able to show them. And we hear all the time, is AI going to replace us? Because there are so many programs out there. Absolutely not. Because, first of all, and don't let it. I did a little video. I looked terrible. I mean, don't, I needed to, have my hair done that day. But the point was capitalizing on social media as you transform a space. And then, second of all, I was highlighting that my eye and my color knowledge was what was going to zero in on the perfect paint color. So I kind of demonstrated how did I get, I think it was called ripe olive. How did I get that color? And how did it also work with this client's inspiration piece? So I color matched it, but then I gave AI some very clear prompts. But I also thought, okay, I know what I want to do, but let's just look, what are other options that we could lay out? We could get some wallpaper. Would we get the impact that we wanted? We could tile the back. That's kind of pricey and was not in their budget. So there were other options, but at the end of the day, I told Chat, I prompted by saying, please paint this laundry room Sherwin Williams ripe olive. And I gave it the number. And I also went and got a sample of that color and put it in my prompt. I was very specific. I would like 1 by 2 strips going up the wall just behind the washer and dryer. I would like for the strips to stop at random points. I also would like the attic access to be trimmed in the same stain color of the wood, la la la. So I'm giving this whole thing. But I also knew that my clients wanted some ability to put their hampers on the side. So I was very specific, and this is what I got. And because they're awesome clients, this is what it ended up. They painted the room exactly what I told them to. They stained the 1 by 2s. Can you see we had a little bit random
Hmm.
stopping. We didn't even have a rhyme or reason. And then they did have a few pieces of, fun words that they liked. I did even suggest, because this is where the color aspect comes in, even though we have some white represented in the signs, I said, let's just see if we could get some same color hampers as the stain, or at least close to it. So that is what we ended up with. But the AI, along with my color knowledge and my giving them some direction, ended up making the laundry room, they love it.
And Sandra, let's just talk about that again, going back to what you said. Is AI going to take my job? Absolutely not, because your homeowner cannot give it as detailed of a prompt. And a prompt, PROMPT, in case my word wasn't clear, is what you ask chat or Midjourney or whoever you happen to be using to create what you want. And the more specific and the more detailed you are, the better. And as Sandra said, you can actually upload the picture. And as of just a few months ago, that was not an option. So learning to use this as an assistant to sell the job is powerful.
And so that's your wow.
So there's your wow. So Sandra, go, if you would, just let's just take a minute because we didn't really spell out what wow was about. So W for what's wrong,
Mm-hmm.
O for offer options, and W for wow worthy,
Perfect.
wow worthy spaces. So, and really every job you do, wow is really what you're looking for. You're going to look for the problems, you're going to find the solutions, and the end result is going to be wow worthy rooms that build your business because people are talking about you.
I mean, think about it. That's 3 steps. I mean, literally 2 steps to get to the wow. And you
Hmm.
can do that.
Hmm. Exactly.
So this is actually my office in where I am right this minute. And so there's really nothing that I would pinpoint that is wrong with this, except if I was taking the photos again, I would have picked up that blotter and I would have moved that over where it typically sits. I mean, you can be very critical about your own stuff. Um, and this is a piece of art. I don't know if you saw the blog on this. I had it, but there wasn't a lot of my wall color represented, so I just smeared some on it. It was an economical piece of art. But this room there's nothing that would stand out in being wrong if I wanted a home office. But with my house on the market, one of the things that came up, this couple that loved this house, but they had a 3-year-old little girl and a 5-year-old little boy. And there's only the primary bedroom on the main floor and one other bedroom. So you're not going to put a 3-year-old or a 5-year-old downstairs. So I thought, let me help spell it out for them. So I again put it in AI and I gave very specifics. I would like for you to turn this office using this color pink on the walls into a 3-year-old little girl's room. And I think I said, oh, and make this cut out a closet. And so the first photo, which I did not highlight tonight, you could see there was a closet. But this is what AI did. So it allowed my agent to then forward to them and say, just wanted you to see that when this house was built, it was also designed in with a potential bedroom in mind. So you can visualize this. Okay.
Brilliant. And again, you could have explained it to them, but to be able to create that
Mhm.
visual in a matter of seconds. So if you are not using AI, you're losing out. And the other thing that we will that we want you to know, you're never going to use AI, especially if you're using the written word, exactly as it comes. It still has to be you. I was working on something today for a client. I was doing some blogs for them for next month because I do social media stuff and website and all of that kind of stuff, the business side, marketing side of it. And so I had some concepts, and when it sent me over wording, it was like I picked up the wording and then I Joannized it because I don't want it to feel like it came from a machine. Okay, talk to us about this space, Miss Sandra.
So now we're at the 5-year-old's room. And
Okay.
but the deal was the agent did know that the father was a pilot. And this is what the secondary main floor room looked like. So I very specifically said, take this room and make it a 5-year-old little boy's room, keep an aviation theme. And I think I asked for it to change the drapery color. I did not like what it did originally. So then I came in and changed the draperies to blue. But it literally, see how it used my artwork and just
Mm-hmm.
gave it a hint of the blue? And yeah, we added a little blue plane. We added some red, some red. I mean, it is just, if you know how, like Joanne was helping you guys understand, the prompts are key. And then it's also good to understand that you can't take, let's say, this after photo and then say, and direct it quite and prompt it like you did the first time because it doesn't follow that thread as easily. So knowing how to use the prompts and how to load it, load these samples in makes a huge difference.
Now, also for you, um, to understand that this is a great starting point for you. So if you're working with a client and you say, I wonder what this room would look like with a sofa, a circular or a sectional sofa, as opposed to a sofa and two chairs. You can give the room size, so you can upload a floor plan. And then it can give you a couple of examples. And even though that may not be what you're selling, that sofa, it still helps your client to visualize.
And that is such a good point, Joanne, because let's say they're on the fence about two different, chairs, two swivel chairs,
Mm-hmm.
and one
Right.
rocks, one doesn't, whatever. By them being able to see it, there might be your sale. And I mean, again, we're service oriented, but at the same time, get helping your clients select that product that gets them that wow room is the goal.
Absolutely. So you'll be hearing more details, but we are going to do a deep dive seminar. So what Sandra and I have decided to do is each month we'll continue with the Design Boardroom, a free seminar, and then each month we're going to do a deep dive, a master class. So we're going to teach you how to turn AI into a free design assistant, how to write your prompts, how to ask the right questions, how to upload your client's photos, what to do when it does it wrong, because sometimes it does it wrong. Uh, so that will be next week at noon, and we'll have more details as we go through the next few minutes.
Now, if anybody can tell me something that is right about this room, there was nothing. And this perspective of this photo makes it look whiter than it is. But this was, I'm going to say, a homemade wine room. And yeah, there you have it. So the bottom line is every room, every bedroom in the lower level of this home was not able to have its own bathroom. And this lovely wine room was right beside one of the bedrooms, and it was very easy to move the door. So this every room could be an ensuite. So there was no way that I am going to help anybody understand this unless I could give them a visual. And this is strictly a shower. It did honor, now okay, we'll give it credit. This was a nice curved detail.
Yeah, the
This
barrel ceiling is pretty. Yeah.
exactly. But it really was a good visual. And I was like, okay, dang, that is really good because simple floor, bring in that shower, and then you've increased the value of this space.
And here again too, you want to think right now you are charging for your time. Um, and the more that you can accomplish in that same period of time, uh, the more potential that you have to really connect with your client. So you could have done a drawing and a rendering of this space and done the same thing. Sandra and I have done that for years, but now in a matter of truly minutes, seconds, sometimes
Mhm.
it can take what's in your head and put it in paper. And always to say to your clients, this is not an exact representation, but it'll give you an idea.
And that's a good point, Joanne, because when it was first shown, it was like, do we really have enough room for this vanity? And there was a linen closet right beside that outside of the wine room. So then you get to say, there, we will probably have to take this linen closet, but it is an option. Mary, do you really need this linen closet? So it sparks that conversation. And again, you're not
Mhm.
making that final decision. For instance, the plumbing would have to be on this other side because that it bumped up to the bathroom, but you've given that visual. Okay, I love this. This is one of my favorite friends slash clients, and I get this sweet little text. My whole house is agreeable gray, and our master bathroom is mindful gray. I want to paint two walls, two small guest rooms. I'd like a little more saturation, but not too dark. Should I stay on the same swatch so it's complementary? I clearly need a class. So I love her, but so I know that deep down she really wants to do more, and that she had expressed that she and this. Oh, she did. I did know that this vanity was Sherwin-Williams naval, and I know that she would love a bold floor. So with AI prompts, I picked out a flooring from Floor and Decor. I picked out a mirror, noted where it came from, but for the prompt, all I needed was the photo. I picked out a shower curtain. Please design this powder room with this tile floor. Remove the large mirror, add this shower curtain. I had to make one more iteration, but the end result was this is what I was able to show her. And then I went and picked a art piece that I knew that she would like, and then I superimposed that. So together, we AI and I created this space for her that she would have, well, as she said, I can never picture in my head, so being able to really see helps. So that's your goal. She may not be ready tomorrow, but when she is ready, who do you think she's going to call? And she might say, hey, I found this other tile. I love what you picked, but can we see it with this other tile? And keep in mind, you're charging for helping these clients be able to visualize.
And just because it gets done quickly with AI, this is when you start thinking about charging per project and not per hour. Number one. Number two, you've done this for a client, you never give them the resources, because if you're smart, you're making money on the product. Now, I'm not saying there's not filler pieces that are going to come from Home Goods or whatever it may be, but you want to make sure that you have the opportunity, even if it's simply using Wayfair and Pottery Barn and getting that trade discount of 10%. So never give the resources until the client is paid, or you can charge an extra fee for the shopping list as well.
Exactly.
So
And they may want just, let's say for instance, oh, I love everything, but I did see this shower curtain. Can we go shopping together? There's another option that does happen quite a bit.
mhm.
So Joanne told you a little bit about the class that's coming up, but you need to know some of the cool things that, and Joanne's going to lead this because she really is a master at AI, and I am, as you can see, I'm learning, but it's good to kind of learn from somebody who spent a lot of time researching and knowing how to take that deeper dive.
So understand, for me, AI is great because as most of you know, I'm 73 years old, so I need the extra brain power that I can get. So in this class, we're going to talk about prompt power. To get the right solutions, to look at a room, you need to ask AI the right questions, and you need to phrase your questions effectively. It doesn't understand variables, it doesn't understand nuances of language with another person. So you have to speak to it in a way that is very clear and concise. You're going to learn how to create design visuals with room mock-ups, mood boards, and even color palettes in seconds. And I love the fact that I can, mix and match and say, I want to use, I have been working so much. I have a client right now, and she's building a multi-million dollar home. And when I came in, she had already had a color consultant there that had picked out a number of paints for her. And she had accessible beige and agreeable gray. And I said, you know what? This is not an accessible beige or agreeable gray house. We're going to use the emerald line because you need woolen mittens and soft sloth and some of them. So using the emerald line has just given me a whole new palette of colors to work with. Also, you're going to learn how to use this as a sales tool to increase your close rate. We want you making more money, not only on your time, but also on products. So we're going to talk about how you can do that. And then how to take what you're doing and learning in AI to use in your social media and your bottom line. You know, that part of the job that everyone hates to do, but
Hate
is
it.
so important. And that's why, people pay other people like me and Steph to do their social media for them. So it's a 90-minute live masterclass. It'll be a step-by-step walkthrough of the AI tools for design. There's more than one. We keep mentioning chat, but there's other options. We're going to tell you which ones to use and which ones to not bother with. Um, we're going to use live examples. In fact, if you're in the class, we encourage you to send some of your pictures, and we're going to really analyze what's wrong and how to fix it. You're going to get an AI cheat sheet geared to the design industry, and then replay access for 30 days. And this is going to happen next Tuesday. So our new format is going to be the free seminar the last Tuesday of each month, and it'll be an evening seminar like this. And then our live masterclass deep dive seminar will be the first Tuesday of each month at noon as a lunch and learn.
So
So
you can
there's the
scan that
link.
code too.
Yeah, scan the QR code, or jot down that link, and we hope that you will join us. So this premise is going to be what we will be doing for the rest of the year. For everything from holiday decorating to window treatments, we're going to be using AI to help you find the problems in our space. We're going to be talking, depending on the week that we're in or the month that we're in, what actually is wrong in that room. In Sandra's case, these photos were used more, the laundry room didn't really have anything wrong with it. It just had a new personality that needed to be addressed. And the other examples were for staging. So each month we're going to really do a deeper dive, but give you the visuals to not just say, change the color on the wall, lift the drapes. We're going to actually show it with the help of AI. So it's a great learning tool and a great business tool. And we would welcome any questions that you have. If anyone wants to take jot something in there. Our next boardroom will be September 30th. If you have a problem room or you just want some ideas, send your photos to Sandra at thedsa.com and prepare to be wowed.
All right. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. If you have any questions, Joanne, I cannot see them, but if
Yeah, we don't have any questions at this point. So we'll give them just a minute to see if anybody has anything they want to drop in.
and this
Um,
take advantage. I mean, we love using your examples. We had several of mine tonight. Good visuals, but we want to help you guys and zero in on your issues that you may be having. And as always, from the slide before, info at the-DSA, or you have our numbers. We would love to help you in any way we can, build your business, add another service, whatever it is that you want to accomplish. We've got a couple more months in this year, so let's get it done.
So Betsy says, do we need to have AI already to use for the class? Betsy, AI is right at your fingertips. So there is nothing that you need to have. It's all software that you can access just with a link. Some of them, like for example, Chat GPT has a free version, which you'll be able to do any of the stuff that we're sharing with a free version. You just can't do as much of it. Sandra and I both have paid versions because, we're still working with a lot of clients, but the free version will work just fine for you. Some of what we will show you may come with a fee, but we're going to discuss which ones you need. And really, using Chat, Midjourney are both good starting points, and they both have a free version.
And if
Okay,
you've been
let's.
on TikTok or seen any of those, they'll say, oh, 15 minutes every day. And there's a host of about 24 different AI learning opportunities. You don't need that many. We want you to just hone in on a few and make those work for you.
Yep, cut to the chase.
Thank you guys. Check out all of our other boardrooms on our YouTube channel, like Joanne said, and we will see you next month. Hopefully, we'll see you Tuesday.
Yeah, take care, everybody. Bye-bye.